And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of a black man is the way that we reason. If not that the way we reason is very, very abhorrent, there is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it.
I want every one of you to remember these three words. Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners and Southerners, we cannot become. And Biafrans, we must be.
Nigeria is the terrorist, not we, not Biafrans. So Finland, you need to get that clear first. You need to know who is committing the act of terrorism. As of today, the Nigerian state, headed by Tinubu and Christopher Musa, continues to unleash act of terrorism against innocent Biafrans. They killed.
The program you're about to watch is coming from the United States of Biafra Media, the ITPS. I want you to pay attention to every information that you're going to hear in this video. It is very educating and it will inform you of the situation in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria and what is going on in the United States of Biafra. Pay attention from the beginning to the end. Every information in this platform is very important. We are here to promote the United States of Biafra under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko, and on the Supreme Command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Arabweze. Pay attention from the beginning to the end, and you'll be glad you did. Let's watch and hear what the media is presenting.
Right, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. The head of the U.S. Africa Command, General Michael Langley, has expressed deep concerns over the resurgence of attacks in Nigeria and across the Sahel. Speaking at the close of the Africa Chiefs of Defense Conference in Kenya, Langley, who declared the Sahel the epicenter of terrorism on the globe, said the consequences of the United States leaving Niger was an escalation of terrorist activities in the Sahel region. He highlights a worsening security crisis that threatens not only the affected African countries, but also poses potential risks to global security, including the United States itself. Now, the general says terrorism has increased in frequency and complexity of attacks, all driven by persistent socioeconomic grievances, including the proliferation of weapons and terrorist groups across board.
Meanwhile, the Benue State government has confirmed the deaths of 29 people following renewed attacks by suspected herdsmen in two local government areas of the state. The affected communities, Naka in Gwe West and Akpali Ediko in Akpa. They were visited by Governor Hyacinth Elias' delegation during an on-the-spot assessment of the violence. The governor was represented by his chief of staff, Paul Biam, who was accompanied by heads of all security agencies in the state. Now, during that visit, Biam conveyed the governor's condolences and assured residents that the state government is intensifying efforts to restore peace and security in the troubled areas.
Now, in Naka, the traditional ruler expressed deep concern over the growing number of displaced persons and the continued loss of lives. Meanwhile, in Ankpali Ediku, eyewitnesses described the attack as sudden and unprovoked, saying 10 people were killed in that incident with several others injured. The community has since been deserted, while authorities say the attackers likely used the forest corridor linking both communities to flee the scene, a tactic that has been used in similar incidents in the past.
We are now being joined by Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, retired, a security consultant. Thank you so much for coming on the news, and we do appreciate your patience. We know you've been here for quite a while now.
Thank you very much.
Group Captain, let's begin from home. You once wore the uniform. When you hear a community is under attack for hours and there's a military checkpoint nearby but no help comes, what does that tell you? And why do these rural areas continue to suffer mass killings? Benue being the particular subject here.
Thank you very much. One of the indices of the effectiveness of security is reaction time. You know, and unfortunately, in most cases like this one that they are reporting, if it is true, you hear that the security forces, whether it is military or police, they only come after the people have attacked and they have left. In essence, you just come to count the bodies and then you leave. So definitely, again, these are one of the issues. I did a conversation for this 2-year anniversary for the Tinubu administration, and one of the indices I looked in assessing whether the government has performed creditably in operation is actually in reaction time. But then reaction time also is a function of so many things. First, the mobility assets that the security agencies have. Secondly, the communication linking one place to another. These are the issues, because if you put people in a place, like we see sometimes some policemen, I use police as an example, you see a police as a checkpoint. But honestly, if you check the vehicle is faulty, maybe they have only 2 gallons of petrol inside. So definitely they don't have a radio connecting them with the next checkpoint there. So definitely they're only there for show. So that means if anything happens outside their immediate environment, there's really nothing they can do. So these are issues actually that are bedeviling Nigerian security architecture, whether it is in Benue as we had, whether it is in the northeast, whether in the northwest, in Zamfara and Kebbi. This is what you hear. Reaction time is something that can be worked upon. But again, like I said, it's a function of many other things. The numbers on the ground, the communication assets, the mobility assets, you have to have them.
Very interesting points you raised there. But let's come to this, point raised by the U.S. Africa Command General Michael Langley, who's expressed concern, saying, look, the resurgence of insecurity, banditry, terrorism in Nigeria, and of course the Sahel, is because of the withdrawal or the pulling out of the United States from countries like, or the exit, if you like, from Niger and Chad. To what extent, really, would you say that their presence in this region helped to protect, the country from insurgency? And how much of a gap really has this created?
Well, before the August 2024 exit of the Americans from their 2 bases in Niger, here he's talking about the Air Base 101, which was based in Niamey, and then Air Base 102, which is in Agadez. The Air Base 102 in Agadez is probably one of the biggest military bases that the US has all over the world. They spent about $100 million to set up that base. So definitely they are smarting from the fact that Niger has told them to go. But your question is very valid. Even while they were there, what is the support that AFRICOM gives African countries, including Nigeria? The support, I want people to understand, is broken into 3. For example, there's training. They train some security forces. Like, for example, they do some operations flintlock, some operations in joint operations they do Obangame here in Nigeria with Nigerian Navy. These are the kind of support they give. The second support they give is intelligence and surveillance, which to me is probably the most important, because definitely the African countries, we do not have enough or sufficient intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance equipment. We don't have sophisticated drones. We do not have satellites. This probably, to me, out of all the support that the US used to give, this is the most important one. But then even that is problematic, because I can tell you as far back as 2017, when the incident of collateral damage happened in Iran, Americans provided the initial information. But according to them, the interpretation of that information is left to the Nigerian forces. So that really brought a kind of blame me, I blame you. When push came to shove, the Nigerian forces said that it was actually America, which could be true. But the Americans also reneged that, okay, even if we give you the operation, we give you raw information.
What do you do with it?
What do you do with it is entirely your own business. So from that time, actually for Nigeria, the Americans have not been given much live intelligence, because intelligence is when it is live. Right. They can use their 24/7, they can use their satellites, which we don't have the capacity 24/7 to see. But then from that incident, I think there was even a big hearing at the US Senate as to why should they be given intelligence. So they have pulled back. So even that is subjective. They don't really give this. Then the other place that is logistic and non-lethal support. I emphasize non-lethal support. What does it mean?
Right.
It means they can give Nigerian military ambulances. They could give them IED tracking vehicles. Okay. They could give them radios, but they cannot give them anything to do with arms, ammunition, or direct equipment that has to be used for fighting. I can give one example. Even the ambulances, the military ambulances, they have some capacity like machine guns that at least the driver can use to protect himself when he's attacked. When they are giving us such vehicles, they remove all the machine guns, all the firing devices. So this is the non-lethal support. It is very important. There is also the joint operations that they do, and I know they provide some intelligence analysis support to the Defense Intelligence Agency. Yeah. So in essence, you know, this is even the complaint of countries like Niger and even Nigeria. When you speak with high-level security, military officers, they tell you the support is there, but it's not, like they call it, non-lethal. So really, you know, so sometimes if you ask the security chiefs, they will prefer to deal with countries like even UK, France, or even Turkey, because those ones, they will give you support, what you need without any conditions. The Americans will always talk, again, there's another issue, they always talk of human rights. Sometimes even the training they give, there have been instances where they will say Officer X has been scheduled to go for training. They will go and check that in their records. They have a report that he was commanding one unit that did human rights violation, and then they will remove it. So they always bring the leahy. So yes, the support is there, but at the same time, it's a beneficial relationship if it happens to both. Okay. Because why? For the Americans, also the Sahel region is very, very important. Yeah. Yes.
But beyond the Sahel, I think General Langley also mentioned that the terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda, ISWAP are trying to push from the south to the West African coast. He was particular about the West African coast. How much of a threat is that? He highlighted how Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin are fortifying their northern borders. Is Nigeria doing enough to fortify our coastal borders? Or what should Nigeria be doing?
Well, Nigeria, you can never say you're doing enough as long as the threat is there. So the idea is not to be complacent. Is to be doing more and more what you're doing. And the point he raises is very valid, because after being sent out of Niger, whether officially acknowledged or not, the US is trying to find a base in those coastal countries. Either Ghana, Ivory Coast, or Benin. Well, Nigeria is out for obvious reasons, but they have attempted Nigeria. Even Ghana, they attempted. But if you see history, because of the Nkrumah effect in Ghana, who's, he set Ghana on Africa for Africa. Yes. The last president of Ghana who just left, he actually attempted to give the Americans a base. Yes, but there was a lot of kickback from the citizens. So definitely, if it happens, it is a fact. They are looking at Ivory Coast, they are looking at Benin. My own thinking is that if any African country, there are some benefits we'll get, financial and the rest. If any country will accept, it will be one of the smaller African countries. Right. Because any big country that gives a foreign base, it's a kind of losing face. You should be talking about Africa for Africa if you are saying a country like Nigeria. So that's why. But again, we should remember, about the time that President Buhari was leaving, he actually made overtures to AFRICOM to come and open a base there. But I know
there was some kind of backlash.
Yes, there was a backlash. I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll have to leave it there. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, retired security consultant. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.
On behalf of the Prime Minister, His Excellency Eba Simon Njako Obato Obie, the Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, now therefore, the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic Government in exile, His Excellency Eba Simon Njako, by virtue of the authority and pursuant of the issues and principles recited above, do hereby solemnly proclaim that the territory and region under the 40 confederating states of Biafra, together with her continental shelf and territorial waters, shall henceforth regain her independence and act as an independent sovereign state with the name and title of the United States of Biafra.
We have heard of all the grievances that have been read here today. The untold hardship of our people that they have gone through, the lives that the lives that have been lost, the lives that we are still losing. As a member of cabinet, I stand here to affirm, on the basis of the grievances and of the referendum, for our forefathers, for this generation, for the next generation to come, I affirm the declaration and restoration of the United States of Biafra.
Eba has not done anything illegal except fighting for our freedom. All of us, right? So if Simon Eba so we have to go back to civilization and continue the event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, Finland's got to be on the right side of history. Finland especially should live up to its status, its claim as being the freest country on earth. That's what Freedom House ranked it as. And right now they're endangering their status.
Good day, Michael. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
My name is Dr. Ngozi Orobweze. I am the Chief of Staff to the United States of Biafra.